So if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself by saying your full name and title.
Hi, Steven Meersman from Zenobē Energy, one of the founder directors.
Thank you. Steven, how concerning are the figures on UK air quality?
Well, in a few elect spots, they're not terrible, being classified as safe. However, in many places, our urban city centres, we're far in excess of the legally advised limits. West Midlands, parts of Yorkshire, etc. And I think there's quite a bit of work ahead of us to clean that up, because everyone deserves clean air where they live and work.
And the move to electric seems logical then. So what is preventing councils and operators from doing this?
The move to electric has a few barriers with it, because obviously it's new and therefore there's lots of perceived challenges. Some of them are real, but to a large degree it's getting people more familiar with the technology. And that's where the last few years of trials and twos and fives has been very helpful, but we now really must accelerate. I'd say two particular areas where there's work to be done is knowledge around the challenges or the availability of grid power. And I'd say secondly, understanding in the larger system, how does going electric affect operations and the various other parts of the system. And I think more knowledge sharing, like the working groups, ZEMO partnership, but also government encouraging these trials to share all information are some of the things that can very well sit alongside some of the subsidy work that's being done.
So how can the barriers to the adoption of electric bus fleets be overcome?
Well, to overcome the barriers, as I mentioned, it's very much about sharing information between operators across industry, between private sector and public sector, and also making sure that while in the past perhaps you could buy a vehicle, you could buy a fuel pump, and everything would be sort of independent of each other, when going electric, things really need to be considered as a whole holistic solution. How do we go to zero emission? How can buses really be leading the charge in terms of electrifying the whole city centre, and then take the learnings from there into other sectors? How do we make sure that operators have all the data available to make the right decisions? It's really all about knowledge sharing to a large degree.
Steven, how much better is an electric bus than a diesel one for the environment?
Well, an electric bus is better for the environment than a diesel bus in many, many ways. The first off is it uses less energy to move around. It's much more efficient. A diesel engine typically, or a petrol engine, is around 30%, while electric is closer in the 90s. Also, the source of that energy is a lot cleaner, coming from mostly renewable energy rather than fuel dug up from the ground. And then thirdly, from a resource perspective, they break down a lot less often, so you need less spare parts. On top of that, some of the big components like the battery can actually be reused in a second life to either power a local school with solar energy, or the battery can replace diesel generators on construction sites. So it's really a virtuous circle, starting with public transport.
Where can people go to find out more information on this, Steven?
Well, there's many public sources available, but if I just highlight a few, ones obviously are zenobē.com/COP26 microsite. But in addition, I would also encourage people to engage with their local bus operators. HCT, National Express, etc. have all been very clear about their commitments and what they've done for electrifying at scale. Two other ones are the ZEMO partnership, but also the Fully Charged educational show that really showcases how far electrification technology has come.